Welcome back to the MMA Plug, presented to you by DenverSportsBetting.com on 98.1 FM, Mile High Sports Radio. I'm your host, Jordan Kurtz. Give me a follow along online at Comments from the Peanut Gallery. Sitting alongside UFC middleweight, the Big Yins, Josh Friend. Give him a follow at Josh Friend MMA. Guys, if you're watching along online, smash that subscribe button. Hit the bell for notifications so you do not miss a drop. Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to see your business advertised here on the MMA Plug, please reach out and let us know what we can do for you so we can put together a package that will help bring the value to your site, and we would love to make that community connection here as well. That's once again me, Jordan Kurtz, at Comments from the Peanut Gallery, or Josh Friend at Josh Friend MMA. Now, we have a card that has been an entire season in the making right now for the PFL. It's actually a pay-per-view this week, but it is loaded with title fights. There is multiple million-dollar prizes that are going to be cut that night. Every single championship winner or champion that night that is crowned will also get $1 million stipend prize on top of their earnings for that fight. There's a couple of people that are, or a couple familiar faces in these title fights, but there's also quite a few new faces this year. Some that have caught a second wind in their career, if you will. Some that have just been burning the trail ever since they hit the ground running. In the main event, we have Kayla Harrison. Kayla Harrison is going to be taking on Larissa Pacheco. Now, this is a matchup that we've seen before between them already, and as you know from Kayla Harrison's spotless 15-0 record, she's came out on top each time before. However, Larissa is a very talented fighter and is a tough woman who might be able to give her a little bit of a push. But it's just, Josh, it's so tough for me to see Kayla Harrison falling in this fight.
There's absolutely no way.
I just don't see it happening. The only way it happens is if she gets caught.
And I don't even see that happening.
Me either.
I feel like if she does get caught, she just picks the person up and puts them on their head and finishes them.
Exactly. And I mean, you're talking about like the biggest traps in women's MMA. I don't think that jaw's getting jacked too often.
Bigger traps than me, my guy.
Both of us combined.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. In the co-main event, we have a pretty interesting styles clash between Brendan Lohan and Bubba Jenkins. What do you think of this one?
I'm super pumped for this. I've always been a big fan of Bubba Jenkins, and I think that this is a huge styles clash. I think Brendan is more proficient on the feet, but Bubba's definitely the better wrestler, like hands down. And if Bubba can do what he does with his takedown game, being able to push him up against the cage, put him on his back, then I think it might be a tough night.
Definitely, but I also have to question, though, by that, Josh, with this being a 25-minute fight, can Bubba wrestle for 25 minutes?
Oh, dude, Bubba can wrestle for 45 minutes. Not a problem in the world.
I mean, I can see it, but I feel like, the bright lights, everything comes into question, right? Like, it's the biggest of stages, and especially, get touched a couple of times by Lohan. Could be a little bit of adversity, but I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
I'm a big Bubba Jenkins fan, and that's who my heart is with in this fight. Just because, like I say, I mean, he's been someone who we as fans have watched for quite some time now, and I would just love to see him be able to put that championship on his mantelpiece. In the feature fight of the night, we have Ante D'Elia taking on Mateusz Scheffel. This is the heavyweight title fight. Now, Josh, Mateusz has looked pretty good this season, but I really want to know how he's going to react to D'Elia's power.
That's the biggest game changer ever. Because if he clips you once, it's night-night.
Or it's either night-night, or at the very least, it presents significant adversity that is going to alter the trajectory of the fight.
Yeah, 100%. And it even shows that, Ante's sitting at a minus 280 at this fight. So it's pretty obvious where people are leaning towards.
Certainly. In the lightweight title fight matchup, we have Stevie Ray taking on Oliver Aubin-Mercier.
The Canadian gangster.
The Canadian gangster. He's hinted, or he said, that this may be his last fight. If he wins that $1 million in that championship, I'm sure that makes his decision
That's
that much easier.
100% your final fight after you win $1 million.
Yeah. But at the same time, though, Stevie Ray has caught a second wind after his run in the UFC, and he's on the verge of this world title for a reason.
Yeah.
He's gone out there and he's put on performances this season that have shown that he is worthy of being in this position right now. And for me personally, I have a hard time thinking that Stevie doesn't get it done because momentum is just such a huge thing at times. It's going to be a tough fight, but I think Stevie Ray gets it done. That's just me, though.
Yeah, momentum is a huge thing, and Stevie has it on his side, but I'm going to go with the Canadian Gangster just because I got to see the Canadian Gangster win $1 million.
I mean, I get what you're saying, Josh. I get what you're saying, but, you know, again, I don't know. I mean, it's a tough one to call, right? Because you have Stevie Ray who's came out and, I mean...
just looked absolutely phenomenal.
And it's I think it's also fair to say, though, that the Anthony Pettis that we have had in this PFL stint
is not the
Anthony Pettis.
It's not the Anthony Pettis, correct. But you beat Anthony Pettis regardless if it was him or not. You know, it's still a high-quality fighter right there.
Certainly. In the welterweight division, we have Dylan O'Taylor taking on Sadbo C. Josh? Sadbo Sai.
Hey, Danny, do we have Christina Aguilera Postman?
I can find it.
Because I'm going with the Postman.
You go with the
I'm
Postman?
going with the Postman because I think that this guy is just electrifying. I think that he had, similar skill sets, similar fighting styles, but I just think we see the Postman get it done.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's I agree with you. I like his style a lot, but I think speed might be the question here.
Well, Postman always delivers pretty fast.
I mean, he does. He does deliver fast, but you get my point.
I get
though.
what
Like
you're saying,
as far
yeah.
as where does he get beat in this match, or what might be a key to, or just things that might go wrong. I don't think he's as fast this side.
Yeah.
Which but then again, though, when you go into a firefight, you like taking a dog, right?
I do like taking the dog.
You gotta take that dog.
You
gotta take that dog.
Can I pet that dog?
But moving along to the opener of the main card, you have Razor Rob Wilkinson. Razor Rob Wilkinson is going to be taking on Omari Akhmedov. This is a light heavyweight title fight. Now, Rob Wilkinson is a guy who I think a lot of people can look to and find some inspiration from. He was a kid who made it to the UFC undefeated, goes into the UFC and gets a tough draw out of the gate.
First two,
Siren
first
Izzy.
one, that's super hard draw.
So he gets two extremely tough draws right out of the gate, and then obviously he gets his walking papers from the UFC. But then the pandemic hits, so it was kind of tough for him to get some opportunities for a little while. Sharpened the sword, fighting in some Muay Thai competitions for a little bit. Gets signed to the PFL. His best weapon, too, by the way, folks, is his elbows. He doesn't even get to throw them in.
Doesn't even get to throw them.
Did not even know that PFL didn't have the elbows when he signed initially. You remember that? You remember that conversation?
I remember that conversation, yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, it's incredible to see that Rob has came through and has been able to find the success that he has because, as mentioned, folks, he's came in now to the PFL. He is currently 4-0 in his PFL run with 4 knockouts.
Highlight reel knockouts, not just knockouts, like putting people away type knockouts.
Certainly. And so with the way that this matchup stacks up against a guy like Omari Akhmedov and someone like Rob, who is vicious with the striking, I think that a knockout by knee is something that is extremely likely to happen because if we know anything about the Wolverine, Omari Akhmedov, and his style, he is a forward-moving fighter who at times likes to duck his head when he throws that overhand, which that overhand lands.
Tough night.
It's a tough night. But you have to also take into consideration what the size discrepancy is right here. With Omari being such a shorter fighter and Rob being a very large light heavyweight and long light heavyweight at that.
Let's reiterate, Rob is a giant human being.
That is a grizzly bear, ladies and gentlemen. But the size discrepancy and the difference in terms of how fast that knee is going to be able to travel to Amari's head should he dip, that's going to be a very, very bad night for him should that be
Oh,
the case.
yeah, and especially with how fast Rob Wilkinson is, it's just going to be don't blink, guys. I'm telling you, if you take your eyes off of the TV, you're going to miss it.
Definitely. And I mean, I think it is worthy to be concerned, or there is a concern to be at least factored in for Rob, because in his last fight, he banged it out and he did get touched a couple of times. Obviously, he came out on top with the highlight reel knockout, but did he get hit a couple of times? Yes. If Omari Akhmedov is able to land some of those same overhands, it could present some interesting elements to the fight. But I just don't think that Rob. But yeah, not to cut you off there, but I think that Rob is just it's his moment. It's his time.
It's his moment. It's his time. He'll eat that right hand, shake it off like nobody's business, finish the fight, win $1 million, and be a world champion.
Absolute world champion. He's going to go out there and eat every single burger available in the greater Manhattan area.
For sure.
I mean, that's the one thing I always know when all my friends are in weight cut mode, because you guys all start
posting videos of food. Yeah, it's about that time for Rob.
Yeah, he's got a couple more sleeps, and he's ready to go out there and do the thing out there. So, Razor, we are with you, my friend.
Let's get it, dude.
You have nothing but support from us out here in the Mile High. Josh, there was a matchup on this card that we were all looking forward to, for one side of it at least. Shane Burgos and Marlon Moraes didn't end up making, but Shaman Moraes and Marlon is on.
That's another decent fight, yeah.
I mean, it's not a bad fight for Marlon to try to get back in the winner's circle, but I will still hold tight to my position that I don't necessarily want to see Marlon Moraes fight. Like, Marlon Moraes has gotten knocked out so bad in his last few fights that, Josh, like, at what point, like, do we have to say, like, no, like, you have to stop?
I think the time has come and gone, and this is a grown adult. He gets to do what he wants, but I agree with you. You know?
I mean, in terms of, like, that's what licensing bodies, that's what the regulatory bodies are supposed to be there for, right? Because you as the athlete, you as the competitor, you're always going to say, like, no, like, this is what I do. Like, I'm going in there. But they licensed it.
And also, I mean, I don't know I'm never looking in another man's pockets, but what are they paying him that maybe this is just an opportunity you can't pass up? Maybe it's quick money. It's hard money, but it's quick money to be able to invest and put in other opportunities.
Absolutely.
And yeah, the dangers of getting knocked out and all that are super bad, but that's like you said, it's where licensing situations should come in and deem this unnecessary.
And to piggyback off of what you said there, it is worth mentioning that this is Marlon's roots.
Yeah.
Marlon was a product of World Series of Fighting. World Series of Fighting then became the PFL. So he's essentially gone back home, so I'm sure they treated him well. I'm sure that they made that offer.
I'm sure Ray definitely filled his pockets up for sure.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But then there's also a matchup on the card that is on the main card, which it's a former Bellator world champion against a once highly thought of UFC prospect that had a significant fall off and then was released due to troubles at the scale. We have Julia Budd, who's going to be taking on Aspen Ladd. Now, I question in this, Josh, where is Aspen's head? And Julia, to be fair, ever since Julia lost the title in Bellator, she hasn't necessarily been the same either, but she's still a game vet.
I think it's a good fight for Aspen to get back on track. I think that she's looking at this fight like, all right, it's a new book, it's a new chapter, it's a fresh start. Don't have to worry about the UFC. I got another opportunity with a good up-and-coming promotion. Let me get my name out here. Let me fight like I know how to fight. Let me make weight like I know how to make weight. And then I think it's a good opportunity for her.
Not going to disagree with you right there. Stick around after the break, folks. We're going to be going into a little bit of a festive segment for this next run, and then we're going to cap off the hour by going 3 rounds. I'm Jordan Kurtz, sitting here alongside UFC middleweight Josh Fremd. Give me a follow online at Comments from the Peanut Gallery, Josh at Josh Fremd MMA. Make sure you smash that subscribe button and hit the bell for notifications. This is the MMA Plug presented to you by DenverSportsBetting.com on 98.1 FM, Mile High Sports Radio.
Thank you so much for watching. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. That helps us continue to produce this original MMA content and bring it for you every single week. Tune in to the MMA Plug presented by DenverSportsBetting.com on 98.1 FM, Mile High Sports Radio on Wednesday nights from 6 to 7 p.m. or live stream at DenverSportsBetting.com/radio.